Welcome to the Wealth Break. This is where we unlock stories of financial success, breaking down odds, being yourself, and then doing it in a way which we hope closes the wealth gap. Hello, everyone. I'm Rodney Williams, co-founder and president at The Wealth Break, and I'm so excited to be here today with an incredible guest, an incredible leader in beauty and wellness and all things women. I think I look up to you since I met you. So I'm really excited that you're here and inspired. But we have Shontay. And I want you, to, honestly, because you have a background that starts well before Black Girl Sunscreen.
Sure.
And I would love for you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Shontay Lundy, creator and founder of Black Girl Sunscreen. You just said some really nice words, and I can't believe that you said that. You were that you look up to me. When I met you a few years ago on set, you were so reserved and like, yeah, I'm Rodney. Like, all right. So that's not even like what you gave off like when we met. And even like over the years, you still come across so reserved. Like I could text you, you ain't even texting me back. I'm like, huh? I'm texting this man just to like get some business combo to build. And it's just interesting how you say that you look up to me, but this is the energy that I get.
You should see how I talk about you behind your back.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the real test, right?
Okay.
Because there's so many things that someone could be going on at a particular moment in time that makes them not show up as themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm a bad example of that, of someone who I show up in different environments. I'm just not myself. So number one, apologize for that. But yes, I actually first heard about you well before I met you from a good friend of mine, Keenan.
Yep.
And why I was so impressed is because I think it is difficult to come from big corporate and do it on your own and then do it well and then like thrive in it. You always seem so graciously thriving in it. And I know how hard it is. So to do it with grace is a specific skill that I am always impressed by.
Thank
so that's
you.
what I mean.
Okay. So yes, coming from a corporate space and yes, having to do things with grace is because that's how I was taught by my grandparents to always just have pride in everything, even if you have nothing or things are hard. So what I do believe is it is important for how people do speak about you behind your back. So thank you for that. So just an intro, like, I don't know, I'm from upstate New York, Newburgh. You know about Newburgh, then you know. Newburgh, by the way of Southern Florida, South Florida, whatever. So I did my undergrad in New York. I did my master's down in Miami. Worked corporate for 10 years. Transitioned out of corporate. Drove to Los Angeles in my little two-door car with no job, no apartment. Had a friend who was letting me stay with her for 2 weeks. That's what I gave myself to find an apartment.
2 weeks?
Yeah, because you know what it's like to stay with a friend?
Terrible.
Awful. Even though she was my homegirl from college, right? You know, you got to just be respectful, you know, maybe wash a dish or here or two. You know, people be having mans and stuff. Like, I didn't want to be there. But also I wanted my own space. So anyway, came to Los Angeles because that was the next best thing for the business. I felt like Black Girl Sunscreen had really penetrated the market in Miami. So coming over to LA was like, okay, bigger community, more Black women founders, because I know them all in Miami, and just more opportunity. So anyway, you know what? This isn't how the story goes. Because the first time I moved to Los Angeles, I didn't have Black Girl Sunscreen. I was just transitioning out of corporate. Yeah. No job. No nothing.
What?
So wait, I got to bring that back.
Yeah.
Because I moved to Miami and came back to LA for a second time. That's what happened, yeah. So in 2016, transitioned out of corporate, moved here, no job, no nothing, and I did nothing. I hiked, I did yoga, walked my dog. And I tell founders or just people that need a break to do this, because if your mind isn't able to just decompress and reset, how do you think about whatever the next biggest thing or the next smallest thing that can be the next biggest thing? So if I didn't have the 4 years of doing nothing, I wouldn't have thought of Black Girl Sunscreen. Or 4 months, excuse me.
I was like, 4 years? How
Yeah,
did you
no,
manage that?
4 months.
4 months.
So 4 months off of my savings,
Yeah.
4 months of eating at whatever restaurant I wanted to do, waking up at noon, and not being under a strict regimen. And what I mean by a strict regimen is elementary school, middle school, high school, college, grad, working at a corporate job. Like, you know how many years that is at waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, so when I came out of corporate, I was just like, okay, I'm tired. Some people don't have that ability to take 4 months off, but I had some savings. I spent it all. So I had to go back to work.
I can't wait to take my little break. I have a break coming up, y'all, and
Where you going?
take it. I don't know completely. Probably Europe.
Okay, what country in Europe?
I haven't gotten that far. Probably a few.
Okay.
But definitely I'm going to start probably in Portugal.
How many fits you bringing? Because you know you got to have your fit.
I only travel with a carry-on.
That's a lot.
That's enough. And if I don't got it, I'll get it.
I don't believe you.
I swear I only travel with
So
I have rules. And mainly because I've had my luggage broken into and my
Okay.
shoes taken. And also, I get my luggage get lost all the time. It's like my luggage is the favorite luggage. It doesn't matter the priority. It doesn't matter nothing. It gets lost.
So you only take pictures in the fits like one time and then you rewear them and don't take pictures?
Maybe.
Tell us the secret.
Maybe.
Tell us the
You
secret. I'm
know,
a traveler.
First of all, I have the world's largest. I'm not saying I got the world's largest 2 carry-on stack. Right? It's like the
Okay.
equivalent of 2 roller, but one is a book bag and one is an actual luggage. I can fit easily. I can travel with about 3 to 6 pairs of shoes.
Okay, that's a lot.
Right? And then it's basically always 2 color palette.
Absolutely.
It's like a dark color palette and then there's a light color palette. That's all I got.
Yep.
And I have there's 2 to 3 pairs of pants.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of shirts.
Yeah, okay.
And there's 2 jackets.
Guys do that.
Honestly, I'll get through a 2-week trip easy. And then I will pack it all up,
I commend you.
send it to FedEx, and then I will buy me something new.
Okay. So
If I
there's a secret.
There's a secret. If I gotta say, yeah.
So with the break, that afforded me just to kind of, I wouldn't say like redefine who I was, because I already knew that I had a strong work ethic. I already knew that I could find a job if I needed to. But was that, I wouldn't say my calling, but was that what I wanted to do? And, LA is like a facade, because you're driving around, you're seeing people maybe have coffee, eat lunch at random times of the day, and you're like, these people don't work, right?
Yeah.
You see these expensive cars, dirty as heck. Wait, you got this car and you don't keep it clean? Your sneakers not clean? But that's like a chic kind of like how people dress, right? No, but the mentality coming from a corporate America is like, well, how do you get there? But also not really understanding that this is big entertainment, so people's hours are kind of wonky. The days can be kind of wonky. And I was like, how can I do that? Instead of working this 7 to 7 where I just came out of. So that was an aspiration of mine.
Did the idea, were you iterating on ideas during that time period?
So after hiking, my friends would ask me like, hey, why don't you wear sunscreen? And I'm like, well, do you see my complexion? There's nothing that's going to rub in where I'm not looking silly. And then also around that time, Black Girl Magic had just started, 2015, 2016. And it felt like Black women had a boost of confidence. But going backwards in my childhood, I wasn't considered pretty because of just my complexion, being a deeper skinned woman. So it was like, I would hide when I would go outside into a barbecue or something. So I'm looking for an awning, or I wouldn't go to a pool party if there wasn't, shade. But when I came here, I just embraced my complexion. So I was okay with getting darker, hence the fact of not wanting to use sunscreen. But that's the misconception. Sunscreen does not prevent you from getting darker, right? It just prevents burn. With all of that, I just jumped on the internet to see if there was something that, could help while I was in the sun, and didn't come up with anything. So I had to ask myself some questions, some hard questions. The first one was, will other Black women wear this sunscreen? Do they wear sunscreen? The second one was, do I have the resources? And then the third one was, do I have the confidence? And once all three of those questions were answered, it was like, okay, what are the next steps? So who did I ask for validation?
Yeah. How did you go about answering those questions?
I just asked like people around me. I got more yeses than nos, but the nos were haters. I don't need validation in a lot of things that I do. It was more of an analytical standpoint of what what is the total addressable market, right? Are Black people, and at the time it was Black people, it wasn't people of color, are Black people purchasing sunscreen? And if not, how many do I need to be successful? Okay, that was the question for well, other Black women wear it. The second one was, do I have the resources? Now, I told you that I came here and was blowing money like a fire hydrant, but I still had some left. So I was like, okay, I can set aside X amount of dollars, which was $33,000, and I could put a down payment on a home or start this business. So I started the business, and I was really the first first investor of my idea. And then the third question was, do I have the confidence? Listen, I got big confidence, but small confidence at the same time. And the confidence was like, how do I stand somebody and look at them in the face and say, I've created a sunscreen for Black people, and them take me seriously. A regular person, a manufacturer,
Yeah.
a partner, that's the confidence that I'm talking about.
How was that the idea when you left corporate? You know, it was a combination of, for me, of not feeling happy or feeling caged. What was your feeling? Was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. And I don't even know what different means yet.
Belief over fear.
Belief over fear.
Yeah. Belief over fear. So I remember my last days at my corporate gig. They were fine, but when you realize that there are certain people at the top and there's no way you can get there because you don't have the last name, what are you doing there? To continue to make maybe 10% of the salary that you're currently at? I learned a lot from my corporate experience. Invaluable, to be honest. But it came to a point was like, I did everything I could do. And it's time for me to do something different. But I believed in myself. I wasn't afraid to be like, hey, and by the way, like, today's my last day. It wasn't even no 2-week. No, I didn't do 2-week notice.
You did not.
No. Wild behavior. Wild behavior. But that comes over time though, right?
Yeah.
That comes over you questioning, is this the best space for me? That comes from the minutia, right? Like, why you work there? Or almost not even being proud of where you work, right? Yeah. It comes from, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself outgrowing, or do you see yourself like, this isn't the best home for me? Do you see yourself being valued? My complexion and gender, was it valued? I can't say it was.
Yeah, I think my biggest challenge with certain jobs that you end up in is that you're there for the wrong reasons. You're not being your authentic self. You're not really happy. You maybe not connect with the company's purpose, but maybe it's some logo that someone else told you that is important to someone else. And maybe it gives you security. But at the same time, I think my whole thing was like, it should feel something a little bit different than work. It should feel...
Your job?
My job doesn't feel like work. The stress of it feels more like the work. The burden of it feels like the work. But the actual work that I do is it's like a dream come true.
Good for you. I won't even tell you about the work that I do. I just think that this is where I'm supposed to be right now for the last 9 years. But I needed those opportunities. Honestly, without that corporate experience, I would not be able to lead my team, right? Because it's one thing to have a product, to think about a product, right? It's twofold. But to lead an organization is something completely different. And I wouldn't have that experience if A, I didn't have my MBA, but B, have the hands-on. So I can't take anything away from that.
Viewers who may not understand the magnitude of, I think, your business, can you give a breadth of magnitude?
They're the first sunscreen to talk to brown and black women, but not just brown and black women, but brown and black people. Um, and, I don't actually think that we get the credit that we deserve. So, 8 years ago, the bigger brands, legacy brands, weren't talking to our demographic at all. So the bigger brands weren't talking to the demographic, healthcare professionals, whether it's dermatologists, estheticians, media marketing wasn't talking to us. It was, hey, y'all black, you don't burn, you don't need this. So we're now focusing on the lighter skin complexion. You already know who it is. When Black Girl Sunscreen came on the scene, it was, oh, this is provocative. Oh, this is salacious. Oh, this is language that we couldn't really use before. I'll give you an example. The word ashy. I don't know about you. If somebody non-black called you ashy, are you offended?
100%.
Don't just say it for the purpose of the conversation. How are you feeling? Maybe not today, but I don't know. 4 years ago, if somebody was like, "You ashy," and look, you saw my face. You ashy.
Yeah, I would have something to say. Of course.
Okay, but if they say, "Hey, would you like some moisturizer?"
Great.
Different, but same.
Yeah.
Okay. So what the big brands did was, I wouldn't say borrowed, but used our vernacular for when it came to advertising. And they saw that we created a market of our own that they never tapped into. So Black Girl Sunscreen is beyond just selling sunscreen. We literally are the pioneers of a new lane for the entire industry of sunscreen. And that's the magnitude of the business. We're in about, 15 to 20,000 doors across the United States. We don't talk about it too much, but in our community, it's kind of like, well, you're not real unless you're in retail, because they think that it's being cooked in the kitchen or the
Yeah.
basement or whatever that is, right? So when we first got our first retail placement, it was like, oh, you guys are serious. And then that retailer was like tethered to Black Girl Sunscreen for a really long time. So 70% of Americans, all Americans, not any particular race, don't wear sunscreen because the narrative is still vacation, pool, beach, outdoor activities, as opposed to really focusing on maintaining our youth, the fine lines, the hyperpigmentation, even like rosacea, things like that. So people are still not like, hey, I should put this on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I mean, it was something I had to learn.
Yeah.
I got a scar,
Uh,
and I was looking at how to limit my scar from darkening. And they were like, "Oh, you just need to 100%."
Where SPF?
Yes.
Yeah.
And more, I think I was like, so I should be doing this across the board. I have other areas where I may not want blemishes to, turn into like darker problems.
Yeah. So our buyer, who I had a really deep conversation with last month, told us the reason why she brought us into the retailer was, A, she was kicking and screaming for the bigger brands to do something different, and they just refused. And second, she said, I knew that there was not going to be a Black woman in this buying chair again, and I wanted to give you a chance. And I appreciated that. First of all, I appreciate her because, the people in those chairs don't really understand how they can impact a founder, CEO, or a brand's, path.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought it was a big deal because, they're understanding like what the trends are and what's happening in their industry and not just performing to a P&L.
Yeah. Well, kudos and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Code switch. Because I got Shontay from Shamelessly Shontay.
Yes.
Okay. You know what I have a problem with?
What is it?
I have a problem with Black culture's scrutiny on Black culture.
Okay.
Whether it's most recently what's going on with Essence, or you see it with founders, you see it with other people, you see it. We're just so quick to crucify people who look like ourselves. And I have a problem with it.
So with that, the voices, the negative voices, the ones that are bashing, the ones that are hating, are way louder than the supporter. It makes me wonder, what is the intent, right? What is the intent behind not speaking up for individuals or brands that you support, and why are those people trying to harm you, right? Like, is it because they truly had a bad experience? That's one thing. But are they trying to ruin you? Like, think about that. Are they trying to end your business?
It feels that way.
It is that way. But the question is, why?
Yeah. I don't have the answer.
You have a problem with it, though,
I have a
right?
big problem with it. I think it's because it kind of goes back to like the crabs in the barrel. I think it goes back to, slavery, and certain folks were in the house and certain were not.
Yep.
I think it goes back to favoritism and the competition. And that type of mentality was actually, instilled on us, I think, in our community, not necessarily organically. And we haven't learned how to shake it. And as in other ethnicities, it's the complete opposite, or it's very different the way they treat people that is part of their community.
No.
They just have a lot more grace. They have a lot more understanding for the community. They'll hyper scrutinize anything that's not a part of them. And I always wonder why we haven't learned that that's how you elevate your community. You elevate your community by showing grace and consideration and understanding and progress and positivity. You do not elevate by being the biggest critic.
So, somebody in the sun care space made a mistake, okay? Just kind of launched a product, didn't work on women of color. And she made an apology, and they forgave her in that one post. Black Girl Sunscreen doesn't have that luxury. If we post anything with AI, forget about it. Forget about it. We're getting dragged. Why haven't you used black models? Why don't you do this? Oh, okay. If if you can't use real people, then we can't trust your skincare products. Like, yeah, we get it from all angles, Rodney. And the question is, why? Because hold on, the same competitor, right?
Yeah.
Uses AI all day, right? They can make jokes on things, and it's literally just a joke. Or hey, let me understand where the company is coming from. I don't like to cry victim a lot. It's like, okay, we heard that, and sometimes the feedback is constructive. It really just depends.
Yeah.
But we've been dealing. I can't speak for you.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with this my entire life, where it feels like my boxing gloves are up all the time. So, what do you think about the Essence? You think they went too hard on Essence? You think there's some validity that it is speaking to more of or it's not speaking to Black American culture? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you think they should have brought in the CEO on, like?
Right, you want the truth?
Of course.
The truth is the Black culture and community, we should be absolutely kind and graceful for that essence to be alive and to be thriving. Because what you don't know is that it almost died many, many times. We don't have the luxury to nitpick that organization. What do you do with your crown jewel? You give them feedback, but you love them.
The criticism is, right?
Yeah.
Why can't Black people, culture, just have something for them? Why do we have to be accepted of every other? That is what is on the.
I don't receive that. I don't think there's a concept that they have to be everything to everyone.
Okay.
I don't see that. For someone who's been in Essence at this point 6 or 7 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
No one's talking about the fact that they introduced an entire segment called the Global Black Economic Forum that is designed to talk about the political aspects, the economic aspects, the business aspects. It doesn't go viral. No one talks about the Global Black Economic Forum, but they introduced that to be much more than a music festival. They introduced there's an entire track for LGBTQ. I mean, they have been doing that for years. So when you talk about maybe the introduction of some elements that are tailored to Africa or others, and you want to be hypercritical, I think you're being like You're being flagrant. Like you're
That's what I'm
nitpicking.
saying.
Yeah.
The negative voices are louder than the positive
Exactly.
voices, and it's really unfortunate. And I hate the fact that, the CEO, who's been not active for a while, is even brought into the conversation. Um, and I also feel like there's a lot of criticism from folks that can't do the job.
Yeah, CEO. I think she's an incredible, incredible woman, and the saddest part about that is that, like, she can take a leave of absence. She can rest.
So do you think though that came because of the heels of and the participation of the red folks?
And I think it was self-inflicted by the same folks who thought Target was a target. I just think it's misguided. And the reason why we started talking about this podcast and actually said, you know what, we're going to start talking about wealth and changing that dynamic and telling the true stories, because as founders, people that are really in it, I was tired of entertainers talking about something that I do.
We could listen. That's the code switch right there.
Yeah, and I was just tired of it. You don't know. And you're jumping to conclusions and you're riling a bunch of people up and you're attacking things without making sense. So you tell Black people, right? You tell Black people to don't go to Target, right? What that equated to is just about 2% drop in sales for Target. I'm gonna be honest, Target doesn't care. But Black people, that 2% over indexes in Black products that are there with Black founders, Black employees, Black communities. So those products are down 20, 30, 40%.
30% Black Girl Sunscreen is down.
So think about those people you listen to that said to do that. Were they educated? Were they aware of the impact that it was going to have on the products you love and support? And no, it was not subsidized with you going to Amazon. What happened is you couldn't get those products. It was difficult.
Yeah, people
It
have a
wasn't
different
easy.
strategy.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying that that's an example of a very, very bad, the most interesting thing that I learned, as critical as our community can be, is also they have very, very short memories.
What I take from your story and even my story, it really does test your strength. And the fact that you're still sitting here, we're talking, like I said, I'm showing up in a leopard dress, dead in the middle of our sun season and back, so much money for a growing business. It shows resilience, right? And this is, I don't believe resilience can be taught. Resilience is from within inside.
I'm so purposely passionate about closing the wealth gap. And I systematically understand how it needs to get done. So, like, for me, I support people who support my concept to get that done. If you're not thinking about closing that gap and being more financially inclusive, we have nothing to talk about. I don't think as a politician, as a leader, I don't care about the press release or what it looks like. It's what it is and what it isn't. It's numbers, it's black and white, it's night and day. I always say, like, I have a code, I got right or wrong. I don't care about nothing else. And I tell people right or wrong with me is right or wrong. I think I got to focus on the motive that I think is going to make the biggest impact.
I only have one line on it. I've never been in a situation where an administration has been impactful on my personal and professional life. What inequalities do you face in your space based off of how you show up?
That's a good one. I remember being at Howard, and it was a Goldman Sachs executive. And at the time I had locks, and he goes, "You're going to have to cut your hair to ever work for me." Right? That's the group who built our financial system. It is a group that is all about who has deposits, and they don't care about anyone who don't. And they build products for people that look like themselves. And that means rich, okay, over everything. And rich has a certain look that has been defined. They do certain things, they go certain places, they talk a certain way, they approach life a certain way. And yeah, I don't fit that mold, nor do I ever want to. And I think, honestly, some of the adversity that I've gone through, the resilience, all it does is, like, feed into my authenticity. The times periods when I would hold back and be more reserved, lately, I'm more like, no,
Since when? Yesterday?
nah. I'm still, I gotta pick and choose.
I got something for you.
Okay.
So you move like the G in lasagna, real G's move in silence, right? You move a very different way. So what do you think your reputation is?
I think there's two reputations that I probably have.
Okay.
And it's the people who know me and the people who don't.
Okay.
To the people who don't know me, I'm definitely probably like cold, short, direct, maybe awkward. uh,
Own it. Own it. Self-centered?
Self-centered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how the group would define me if you don't know me. I think if you know me,
Mhm.
I think it's kind, it's emotional, it's passionate, it's aggressive. I'm actually a little bit comfortable with both those narratives.
Right.
Because at some point, if you're not comfortable with some narrative, I'm gonna be too focused on trying to address that. And that part of being authentic is it's okay.
Yeah.
What is Shontay without what we know?
In the house, my hair is always in some rollers. Always. I wear glasses. Straight up nerd. My vision is a negative like 6, so that means my lenses are like really, really thick. Like I can't even get certain glasses because my vision is so bad. So extremely like comfortable, um, creative. This is in the house, so people don't know this. You would never see me like this because you wouldn't even think I'm two different people. And when I transform, people are like, "Oh, is that you?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's me." I was on a call with a buyer, and she's like, remember you're talking to Midwestern women, and I was just like, okay, so what does that mean? Well, maybe your personality could be like bubbly, and we think you should have a little bit more fun. And I'm like, well, in what space is it safe for Black women to have fun? And they just paused, because in every space I show up, I have to be buttoned up, have my things together, an agenda, and if the agenda doesn't go through, I have to follow up, follow up, follow up, and follow up. So behind the scenes, I am extremely assertive, and I don't take no. I find a way to get what I need. Period. I also am a dog mom of 5, which is insane.
It's a lot of dogs.
Yeah, and I realized that I should have listened to whoever told me not to, and that's another thing about Shontay. I don't really listen to people that much. But no, I shouldn't have 5 dogs. I should probably have 3 or 2.
3 is great.
Yeah, 3 or 2 for where I am in my life. I'm also very generous. So, you might hear rhetoric like, oh, things didn't work out, or this person treated me this way. And it's just like, wait a second. I'm pretty sure you took advantage of all the benefits, whether it's a anniversary gift, a birthday gift, or trips and whatever. And the reason why I do that is because that's how I would want it to be treated as an employee.
Yeah.
Or in a pre-existing life. So being generous, I don't think that people really understand that about me. And I try to problem solve. So if I say, so if you're like, Shontay, I'm moving. And I'm like, Rodney, I got you. I know you're new to the city. I'm going to help you. I genuinely mean that. Like, you're not going to call my phone and I'm just like ghosting you. I'm going to help you. If I say I'm going to make the connect, I'm going to make the connect. Because there's people that do that. Oh, yeah, I know this person, da, da, da. You hit him up with an email, silence, right?
Yeah, all the
So
time.
so that's who Shontay is. I look in the mirror every day and I feel like I'm still my 12-year-old self. And that's like a really cool thing because I see my face as a 12-year-old young girl. Um, and then I don't, overplay what contributions I've made to this space and even to the employees that I have.
Yeah.
So that's who I am. I'm also very private on the things that really matter to me, because I have to be so extroverted when it comes to the business and who I show up as.
Thank you for that. At one point in time, I think that you could separate your social media life from your business, and you could kind of be a ghost. Like, no one know who you are. I think that is no longer true.
Yeah, because the trend is if folks aren't following the founder, then the brand is dead. I don't believe that trend is going to last forever, just like this trend is new. Okay? So some people have done it well where they've been behind the scenes, and some people do it well in front of the scenes. If you ask me, I prefer to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And let the brand speak for itself, the product speak for itself. Because although I appear as an extrovert, I am not. But with Black Girl Sunscreen, it's always been like, hey, I don't need to be a dark-skinned, slim woman to wear sunscreen or Black Girl Sunscreen. And I feel like that's what founders sometimes give off. It's like you have to almost aspire to the aesthetics of the founder or their lifestyle, and that's not what I want.
We're got to go into our favorite trivia section.
Lord.
Now,
don't ask me anything crazy, Rodney, hard.
To me, you've had to have this in the buyer conversations. Well,
I just don't want to fail my team, my community, okay? Don't judge me.
It's 3 questions, so you got to get them all right.
What? I only have 3 questions?
You only have 3 questions.
Okay, go.
True or false? Melanin means we don't need sunscreen.
Wait, give me that look. False.
Good job.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm looking, is this correct? Okay. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Which of the following is true about melanoma and Black communities? A, Black people are less likely to get melanoma and less likely to die from it. B, melanoma is always easy to detect on darker skin. C, Black people are more likely to be diagnosed at a later stages of melanoma. D, melanoma is not a concern for people with melanin.
So can we go back to A, because I need to understand how that's worded. But D is definitely a correct one, but A is a contender.
I can do start over. I don't even know what melanoma.
It's a form of skin cancer.
Okay.
But let's read A again.
Okay.
Y'all tripping me up.
Question again. Which of the following is true about melanoma in Black communities?
Okay.
Black people are less likely to get melanoma and less likely to die from it.
Okay, so the answer is D.
D is melanoma is not a concern for people with melanin. I'm going to repeat one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to repeat one more.
Yeah. Repeat them all.
Black people are more likely to be diagnosed at later stages of melanoma.
Was that B or C?
That was C.
So C.
Okay.
Thank you.
Correct. That was a little wordy.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little complicated.
That's okay.
They tried to trick you out.
Oh, that's okay. We got it though.
Last one.
Okay.
Which vitamin is commonly found in sunscreen for skin protective properties? Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K.
What's vitamin K? Ketamine?
I don't know. Maybe a Kappa vitamin.
What is vitamin K?
I think there's no such thing as a vitamin K.
I think it's vitamin E.
Correct. That's correct. Last question, and where I think that you created a generational company.
Thank you.
And it started with $33,000 that you saw the foresight to do something with. How important is it to save for your future? How is it important for you to better yourself?
Oh my gosh, this is such a bad question for me. You know why?
Why?
I'm a spender.
But you saved.
Then.
Today is fine.
Then, all right, if I had to, I'll do it all over again. I'll reinvest into, a startup with the $33,000 all over again. I would sell all of my belongings that I know are valuable all over again. I would do it all over again, Rodney. today, what does it mean to save? So I don't live above my means. So I do have like whatever my mortgage is over here. I have saving accounts here. I have other accounts set up, right? So I do believe that's important in case of emergency, but also longevity. And hey, you know what? Here is a trust and an estate planning for my future, right? Because it gets very complicated if something were to happen. So I'm already on that from a people standpoint, and I know that's not where you're really going with it. But for me, like there are people on Black Girl Sunscreen that are so important to me in the business. So I'm investing in them and making sure I understand what motivates them. It's not just about monetary, right? Because I want them to rock with me to whatever that end is. The people that love me, right? Making sure that I'm prioritizing them with my time because time is very limited. And then vocalizing like, hey, here's what I want to happen if something were to happen. So it's kind of like a full circle in terms of like how I'm thinking about my future. And it's actually about the people around me, not my resources.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As we end the wealth break, what's next for you? What's your message to our viewers?
Honestly, this has been the hardest 7 months of my entire career at Black Girl Sunscreen. We've been in business for 9 years. And I'm sitting here with a friend of mine, Rodney B. Williams. And I appreciate every opportunity that I can get to talk about the journey. And what's next for Black Girl Sunscreen is, right, because this is a challenge for us. This is the first time that we do have to do something different than just be Black, right? Being Black isn't enough anymore. Um, So, my advice to anyone is be true to who you are. Try not to have your head on swivel because if you do, you may lose who you are and start to catering to things that just didn't exist. So, don't second doubt what you originally thought. That's my advice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure. So happy to have you. This is Wealth Break. Thank you. Thanks for listening, everyone. The hosts of The Wealth Break are me, Rodney Williams, and Travis Holloway. If you want to stay connected, follow us at The Wealth Break on all platforms. And be sure to visit thewealthbreak.com for additional resources to help you on your journey to building wealth. Our executive producers are Ryan Marks and Malik Saka, with Meredith Barnes as our supervising producer. Catch you next time on The Wealth Break.